Wellness for Life is brought to you by Perham Physical Therapy, Gothenburg Chiropractic Clinic, Mojave Ottawa Community Action Partnership, CHI St. Joseph's Health Weight Management Center, and Natural Alternatives.
Hi, my name is Ernest Hutta. I'm the director and owner of Natural Alternatives in Monaga, Minnesota. I'd like to welcome you today to a very brief overview and lesson on a common struggle that we see in our clinic and a lot of people battle with. Some people call it tinnitus, some say tinnitus. And what we're going to look at today is a form of addressing this dysfunction in a way that is not commonly used in a traditional medical practice. And there could be all kinds of reasons for why people suffer with it. I took a really interesting piece of information off of drugs.com that talks about earwax buildup and age-related hearing loss and Meniere's disease, inner ear damage from loud noise, middle ear damage caused by sudden pressure changes. I've seen it associated with infections, all kinds of things. But the one that we're going to focus on today, or the variation of this whole issue that we see in our clinic all the time, is called pulsatile tinnitus. So what this involves is really understanding the compression of blood supply that goes to the entire cranial and ear structure. And so you can see these vertebral arteries and blood supply, carotids, all these that come up and feed the entire head and skull, also have blood supply that feed into the ear and the canal and so on. And so today I'm going to show you how in our clinic we address this issue, because I'm going to approach it from the standpoint that the tinnitus, which can involve ringing and popping and very loud noises, sometimes on the low end of the spectrum, low frequency sounds, sometimes high frequency sounds, and it can literally drive people nuts. I mean, it can affect their life, create depression, sleep deprivation, agitation. It's really, really difficult when all you can hear, even though you might hear sounds and noises from other sources, what you can hear is this internalized sense of pressure and discomfort and pitches and sound changes that are going on internally. And then in this case, we're going to cover it from the standpoint that it's actually compressed blood supply. And so, number one, I look at compressed blood supply from the standpoint of the cervical structure. So in her case, you can see I've got the pads hooked up here to the ears because I want to drive this current, as I'm going to use microcurrent therapy, and we specialize in electroacutherapy here, and we use it for treating the entire body on the human being. So I'm going to go through here now, and I'm going to probe, and this machine is set up right now so that the current, the positive or negative pole is here, and the other opposing pole is here. So it's driving this current through the entire cervical structure, the occipital ridge, even into the upper back, and the entire time that current is coming back out over here to each of these ears. So it's affecting the ear canal, the blood supply, the neurological supply. Everything that involves the ear structure is being treated by addressing this, again, knowing and understanding that sometimes tinnitus or tinnitus is actually in fact coming from compression of blood supply. And so the variant that I always look for whenever people come in and they've tried all kinds of different things, medications and drugs and alternative options, is I always ask them, can you hear or feel a pulsing of your blood supply in the head with this pitches? Invariably, yes. Not all the time, but a big part of the time people will say that I can feel a sensation of a change in pitch or squealing or low droning noises, so on, that's associated with blood supply. And so again, as you saw from the chart, this entire blood structure coming in and supplying your entire skull, but ultimately feeding in around the entire auricular structure can be compressed. And people through really tight muscles, neck injuries, cervical whiplashes, traumas to the head, all kinds of different ways can all of a sudden develop tinnitus or tinnitus that they've never suffered with in their entire life before. Now, obviously, there are people that have it associated with Meniere's disease or ear infections from childhood, also very commonly associated with having been exposed to very loud sounds in a person's life, maybe power saws or work environments that create a lot of exposure and damage to the ear structure. But even there, this same therapy in which I'm right now driving the current through the ear canal is also impacting that structure in a positive way. So we can affect, in our clinic, treating tinnitus or tinnitus in a way that is just very unique, and we do incorporate also chiropractic if need be, because sometimes a cervical fixation will cause it. And then the other thing that we deal with is Dr. Mark Wheaton on our staff does a procedure called prolotherapy. And so sometimes if you go on the internet and research a syndrome called Bray-Liu syndrome, it's spelled B-A-R-R-E-L-I-E-O-U, two medical doctors who ended up determining an unstable cervical can cause tinnitus or tinnitus. So my goal here today is to help you understand there are options that you can research. Look at the trailer, come and check out Natural Alternatives in Monaga, Minnesota. We also have clinics in Excelsior, Dr. Gottenberg in Pelican Rapids, and we all work together collectively to give people hope for this issue because it really, really compromises your life. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Wellness for Life. Brought to you by Purim Physical Therapy, Gottenberg Chiropractic Clinic, Mojave Ottawa Community Action Partnership, CHI St. Joseph's Health Weight Management Center, and Natural Alternatives.